We are, as difficult as it is, called to be generous with God. To be generous with God with our finances, to be generous with God with our time, to be generous with God with our effort, to be generous with God in prayer. But one of the most difficult ways to be generous with God is through forgiveness, is through pardoning, is through forgiving those, especially who have hurt us. Now, it is difficult enough to forgive ourselves, but let alone someone who has maybe even intentionally hurt us and even caused a lot of damage. How do we forgive people? How do we forgive those who have hurt us? How do we let go? Well, I'll start off by saying this, that forgiveness is necessary if you want to be free. Because forgiveness, the lack of forgiveness, is only torturing you, not the other person you haven't forgiven. You giving them silent treatment might cause some upset, cause them to be upset. But if you feel the need to give this silent treatment, if you feel the need not to speak to this person, if you feel the need to retaliate, to revenge this person, then this lack of forgiveness is destroying you. It is still controlling you. This person who has caused you damage is still controlling you. So you need to let go and trust that God is going to be in control. But how do we let go? Well, first of all, forgiveness is a decision. It's a decision you have to make to will the other person well. Sometimes once, sometimes twice, sometimes 1,000 times a day. Every time you think of that person, it's a decision you have to make. I decide to forgive this person, and I do that simply, for example, by praying for them, praying for their needs, praying that God will bless them, willing them well, asking God to allow them to prosper. Ouch, that is really tough. That's one. You know you've forgiven a person when you're able to will them well. But 10 minutes later, you might not feel that way again, so that's why you need to make that decision again. That's one. Second thing is that forgiveness does not mean defeat. Just because you forgive the person doesn't mean that they have won. It doesn't mean that they have had the final say. No, actually, when you forgive, you are deciding to not let this person control you anymore. It is a victory on your part that you are deciding, hey, I'm not going to let this person and the thought of this person destroy me anymore. I'm going to think of this person and be able to feel joy because God has come into that situation. It is not defeat. The third thing is that forgiveness is not to forget. And I say this, we hear often, forgive and forget. Well, that's not great advice, is it? Because to forget means to lose wisdom. Memories give us wisdom. To forget means to allow ourselves to enter into the same situation in which brought us there in the first place. If someone's abusive towards you, forgive this person, yes, but don't allow yourself to enter back into that abusive situation again. Forgive, but if necessary, do keep your distance. If necessary, stay away from that situation, this abusive relationship. So to forgive doesn't mean to forget. It's to grow in wisdom. It's to remember what happened, but to remember with joy, to remember with peace, because God is with you. But to act on that memory, to make sure you're protecting yourself, protecting your children, protecting those whom you love and care for. God has given us the grace of forgiveness. Let's utilize this gift, as tough, as difficult as it is, as generous that God asks us to be in this gift of forgiveness to Jesus, but also for the freedom, for our own freedom.